And here in Nevada, it is day 3 of jury selection in our next big trial, the double murder retrial for Thomas Randolph. Now, the first time around, he was convicted and sentenced to death for murdering his wife and the hitman he allegedly hired to murder her. But that was overturned by the Nevada Supreme Court in 2020. So now we're back a few years later for the retrial. He doesn't face the death penalty now, Ted, but jury selection has been taking a little bit longer than we expected. I'm receiving updates from the courtroom about 14 floors above me where I am in the lobby, Ted. They are any moment going to have that final panel of 12 with 2 alternates as the attorneys are now exercising those strikes.
It's a fascinating case, and we're going to talk about it a bit more in just a bit. But first, why don't we do this? Let's get you caught up on this case. And for that, we turn to Court TV anchor Julie Grant.
Boom, 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 boom. And he's just laying there.
For the 3rd time, the fate of Thomas Randolph will once again be decided by a jury. He's made headlines for decades. Dateline NBC calls him the widower.
Looking into Tom Randolph's past, we learned that he'd been married 6 times and that 4 of his wives were dead.
These women come up dead. He comes up with money.
Put your hands on your head right now.
In May of 2008, Randolph called 911, reporting a masked intruder had shot his wife Sharon and killed her, and that he had shot and killed the intruder.
911 emergency, Hernandez, 42. My wife's been shot and there's a guy in my house and I shot him.
The masked man was actually Randolph's handyman, 38-year-old Michael Miller. Randolph gave police a walkthrough of what he said happened.
She gets out, closes the door. She goes on in, starts walking in. I open it up. I get right here, and Sharon's laying in the floor, face down. I reached right up here, got the gun, and about that time, he's right up on me. Boom! And he started going out toward the shed.
Investigators saw inconsistencies between Randolph's story and evidence from the crime scene. They discovered Randolph had multiple life insurance policies on Sharon. And they found an alarming pattern. Randolph had other wives who died mysteriously, leaving large sums of life insurance payouts to their widower. Randolph was arrested in January of 2009 and went to trial in 2017. Prosecutors presented a case largely built on testimony from Eric Tarantino, a former co-worker who said Randolph tried to hire him in the 1980s to kill his second wife, Becky Galt.
He told me that he wanted me to kill his wife, Becky.
Were you, I mean, when he says that to you, are you shocked at that? Are you surprised?
Yes.
What's your response when he asked you that?
I came right out and said no.
Becky died from a gunshot wound in 1986. Her death was originally ruled a suicide, and Randolph collected $250,000 from life insurance. But a couple years later, Tarantino came forward. Randolph was arrested for Becky's murder, but was acquitted in 1989. In the trial for Sharon's murder, Tarantino's testimony did lead to a conviction.
Guilty of conspiracy to commit murder. Guilty of first-degree murder with use of a deadly weapon.
A jury convicted Thomas Randolph, and he was sentenced to death. But Randolph's attorneys appealed, arguing that the Becky Galt case should have never been allowed in as evidence at trial as a prior bad act. After all, he had been acquitted. And in 2021, his conviction was overturned. Randolph has been in jail since his 2009 arrest. Behind bars, he still maintains his innocence, telling NBC this.
I'm not a killer, I'm not a stalker of women, just the opposite, I love women.
Yeah, what a case, and we're going to watch it all play out. But Chanley, it's a different case this time around because of what the Nevada Supreme Court has ruled cannot be part of this case. So who knows what's ahead? I know you had an opportunity to speak to the defense attorneys representing Mr. Randolph this morning. What did they say? And specifically, I guess, jury selection going a little long. It's very important. What did they have to say?
They both were upbeat, encouraged, and confident in this case. They say once this case opens, Ted, it's going to be very different than what a lot of people are expecting to see unfold inside the courtroom based on those decisions from the Supreme Court and the pretrial motions from the judge. And during jury selection, the defense has really asked some unique questions, really teeing up what I think we're going to hear once they open tomorrow. And so I asked both attorneys, both met with me separately here and gave me some insights behind the scenes as to their client and why they're asking certain questions during jury selection. Let's take a listen.
We want them to start thinking. We want inquisitive people that'll wait till all the evidence comes in before they make a decision. We think we have a very good defense. We think that the state has made some decisions as it relates to the charging of our client that aren't based on what actually occurred. So we're very encouraged about the defense we get to put forward, and I look forward to opening statements from both sides.
I've been following the line of questioning. You guys have been asking about, whether or not the jurors have had someone break into their home,
Right.
how fear can affect perception of reality.
Right.
Are those things that we may be hearing from you guys as this defense opens?
Yes, absolutely. There's a home invasion. Mr. Randolph shot this man in self-defense. Michael Miller, who's a masked man in his house, has just killed and murdered his wife. And so Mr. Randolph, in trying to reenact exactly what happened, may be off a few feet here or there, but this is to be expected in a terrifying situation.
So we have a crime scene expert that's going to talk about how the crime scene was investigated and the evidence impounded. We also have an expert that's going to talk about the use of force and what happens to the body and mind when someone goes through a traumatic situation.
So breaking news, they're going to put on a case. They're going to call a couple of experts in their defense, Ted, and both seem confident. They say that they don't see a problem with that walkthrough video where he may have been wrong here or there by a couple of feet. They think they can explain that all away.
And they don't have the problem of the first trial with his prior bad acts because of the state Supreme Court, so it is a different case. Let's face it, their client's a little wacky. I mean, he just appears, he's got an odd demeanor about him. You've said that you've seen him. He seems to be very active in terms of the defense, even during jury selection. What do they have to say about Mr. Randolph, their eccentric client?
Yeah, they have been owning the client's personality. There was a moment during jury selection yesterday where Christopher Orm actually said, he may be obnoxious, he may be a little bit abrasive, but that does not make him a murderer, because they know this jury's going to have to watch the walkthrough video. You're going to have to see him talk to police, and they're going to try to get ahead of that. So let's listen to the defense attorneys both talk about their client and how he's feeling leading up to the second trial for murder of his wife and the hitman. How's your client doing?
I think he's probably a little nervous. He's waited a long time for this day to come. It's difficult to be in a jail cell, and that's where he spent the last decade and a half. So we're very much looking forward to giving him his chance to have his story told.
Mr. Randolph is a little bit abrasive. Anybody who has seen him, when the walkthroughs played for the jury, when his statements are played for the jury, he is abrasive. He's sort of outspoken, and we wanted to let the jury know that. And just because somebody's abrasive or maybe slightly obnoxious doesn't make them a murderer.
They both say that Thomas Randolph, 66 now, Ted, he's very helpful to his defense. He gives his attorneys pointers, gives his own defense team pointers on what to say and how to say it. He knows his case really well, they say.
Well, of course he does.